doesn't support it. That's pretty much anybody holding a vision that has not yet been implemented in our society. So, so that idea of what does it take to move past the fear, to find the right support system that will allow you to do the kind of work that you're doing.
Yeah. For me, it took a 2x4 across the head from the universe in the form of Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Because I was learning, as I said, I was learning about Lyme prior to my own illness, but I was meeting so much resistance from my colleagues around proper due diligence when it came to diagnosis and treatment that I just felt like, how can I move forward in the system when I'm getting so much pushback from my colleagues and from my infectious disease, as well as family medicine colleagues, just because it took time. It rubbed all of our infectious disease colleagues the wrong way. It put a spotlight on our little clinic. It just made it feel dangerous for everybody for me to be doing things so differently. And let's be clear, doing things differently meant having long conversations with patients to educate them and help them understand the importance of adequate treatment and detoxification pathways and pooping and sleep and joy and exercise. And that takes time. And it's not information that's like tested for us on the boards, right? That's the stuff that your mom was doing naturally because she had learned those things. And that's proper medicine. I mean, that's preventative and lifestyle restorative medicine. And it's actually stuff that when you think about those questions, you realize, wow, those are all things we actually could be paying attention to in ourselves. It doesn't require a blood pressure monitor or a glucose stick. Like those issues later that do require blood pressure monitors and glucose sticks can actually be picked up much early if we're paying attention to our body's signals, like, I'm exhausted when I wake up. Am I actually getting 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep every night? Am I drinking enough water? Am I peeing enough? Am I pooping properly? Those are things we should actually be monitoring in ourselves that we've forgotten to do because so many of us have outsourced our health care and our wellness care and our sick care to the third-party system that is medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. So your colleagues were trepidatious, but they didn't shut you down at the clinic.
No, it was a very subtle kind of like, be careful,
Yeah.
about you, be careful. And I find it so fascinating as I look back on what my symptoms were and then I did get Lyme, and then my symptoms were mostly back pain, which is like that's all about your root chakra, right? And like your connection to your tribe. And my back pain radiated down my right leg, and it's leg pain, and how moving forward, I felt like I was stuck, and I was afraid of getting unstuck because I think I was afraid of losing everything professionally.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. I mean, I literally when people would ask me, why are you so afraid right now? I'd say, I feel like as I walk down the halls in my hospital, in my clinic, I feel like if I turn around, I'm going to see people and they're going to be scattering kindling, ready to burn me at the stake. Like that's how frightening it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it because there's the authority, like, and I've heard you talk about this in other podcasts, but that a sense of authority and like any questioning of that authority and how it's a damage to a doctor's career, and so they're highly protective of knowing everything that they're supposed to know and saying that they're certain of that knowledge, and so like putting yourself out there to say, well, obviously we don't know because you're not even taught about it. And this is something that we're going to have to go explore. And it does take time and it does take energy and it is going to take some money, like making that stand for your patients. I'm sure like they are cheering in the hallways as you walk by. Because
they're gathering the sticks and they're putting
and they're just like, let me get that for you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and I think it's all those things you mentioned. And I think another one is that there are some really oversized and overly fragile egos in medicine, and I think that comes from the training process and it comes from the kinds of people that work as hard as we work to get into medical school. But there's a lot of tiptoeing around so that we don't step on each other's egos and so that we don't get ours stepped on, because being seen as incompetent or not the norm in medicine is never a good thing in standard practice.
And I think that's what intimidated me. I was pre-med when I first went into college, and that's what I was feeling about the community, that I was not, I thought it would be different because I thought it would be something where we are all learning, so let's all learn together and let's all figure out how to get the information that we need to help the people the most that we can help them. And I was just like, I'm not living my life like that. This is not what I signed up for, right? And so that's why I was like, bye. I like made my exit
You got out at the right time.
early.
Good for you for having that self-awareness, Manifa, and that kind of like, wow, this, I am not choosing this, and extracting yourself before it was too late.
It was, I don't know if I would have made it, right? Because it's just my personality. And then later, it's like now I'm thinking, oh, there's functional medicine schools. Maybe I'll try that. Um, but yeah, but at the time I was just like, I didn't know another way. And I was just like, this is my cue and my excuse really to study music. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about those arms, because a little bit more about those questions, and what questions should we be asking ourselves, and how does that look when we're finding the ways to support ourselves in full health.
Yeah, such a great question and comment. I mean, I think the most important